What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Ask a CISSP episode of The Other Side of the Firewall, where we talk to those movers, shakers, and glass cylinder breakers, those people who've broken to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and today, speaking of glass ceiling breakers, I have Wilson Bautista on the podcast with me. So thank you very much for coming to the podcast.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. We started talking when I was still active duty stationed in Turkey, but we'll get there. We'll get to that. But Wilson is the founder and CEO of Jun Cyber. He's executive director of the Cyber Ohana project, and he's a fellow podcast host of the DevSec Lead podcast.
Yeah.
So a man of many talents, as well as we'll go into some of his very large projects as we go along, because he has his own convention. So there's that as well, right? But I'll give it to you to give us a little bit about your background and your experience, and then we'll go into all your initiatives.
Okay, cool. Yep. My name is Wilson Bautista. Let's see. Where do I begin? Well, I'll begin with I used to play piano in the Marine Corps. So It always throw people off. They're like, really? It's like, yeah, how did that happen? It's like, well, I was 19 years old and I did not like college and figured, I don't want to go to another school that's so close. I feel like I'm in 13th grade rather than like the college experience. And to be quite honest, I wasn't disciplined enough, and I needed somebody to kick my proverbial butt. And I found that in the Marine Corps. So if I was going to go into the service, I was going to go into the toughest one. So they needed pianists. There's only 12 in the Marine Corps when I was there in 2001. And I auditioned and I got in and I played piano for 9 years. And while I was there, I got to see the world. I got to perform all over the place. And I finished my degree and took the opportunity to go to officer candidate school in Quantico, where I was commissioned to second lieutenant. And then from there, they said, hey, we would like you to be a communications officer or signals officer, right, for those in the Army. And what we do is pretty much make sure that all the systems are talking: radios, multi-channel radios, SATCOM, packet switching networks, circuit switching networks. All of those things are talking. And I did that in Afghanistan for a year. I deployed, and then I came back. The Marine Corps said, hey, thanks for playing. We know you've been here for 13 years, but we're downsizing, and we're only keeping like 5% of your class. So we'll talk to you later. And so I found myself, I need to get out of active duty. I thought I was going to stay into 20, but here I am. I'm now going to the civilian world. And so
So let me stop you right there, because there's a lot to unpack already. I don't want you to lose your train of thought. So were you self-taught or were you trained through lessons? Like, how did that come about for you to say, okay, this is going to be what I bring to the Marine Corps?
So I was classically trained. So I was being trained to be like kind of a concert pianist, right? My teacher went to Juilliard. So big time School of the Arts, right, in New York City. And I was having a good time learning some pretty difficult pieces. And then it got to the point where it wasn't fun anymore. And that's where I was like, okay, well, I don't want to take any more lessons. I want to just do whatever I want to do. But I did lessons for about, I want to say 6-7 years. And after the 6-7 years, I decided that I was going to play at church. And so that's where I learned how to play chords and understand how that works in relation to music theory. And so when I took the audition with the Marine Corps, they basically say, hey, you have to have a composition that you know and it's difficult, that you have to play for us. You have to know your scales, and you also have to be able to sight read. Those are the three main things. So have a difficult piece to play, know your scales, and be able to sight read. And with my classical training, I was able to read all the notes. And then with playing with church and being able to look at chords and being able to play the chords correctly and in certain styles of music, like certain grooves, they said, hey, yeah, we could take you from this level and we could improve it with our School of Music. So when I went to the School of Music, I had, pretty decent classical chops. And then when I went to the School of Music, they taught me how to play jazz. They taught me how to play Latin jazz, and really started my journey on jazz improvisation, which was a lot of fun. And then, I played in rock bands, jazz trios. I was able to conduct. it was a lot of fun.
That is awesome, and unconventional story. So I've met a couple of musicians in my time in the military, and they always have really cool stories of how they came into the military and what they plan to do when they got out. But in your case, you went the commission route. So what inspires you to commission?
Well, it was one of those open door opportunities, right? It's just like, okay, well, I got my degree, right? And it was a decision point of, do I want to continue on my path that I'm doing pretty well in as an enlisted person, as a musician, or do I want to try something new, something completely different that not many people want to do, right? Because it's already one thing to be in the Marine Corps. Not many people want to be in the Marine Corps. It's a completely other thing to be a Marine Corps officer. Not many people want to be a Marine Corps officer. And, up to this point, like I would say boot camp was the first time I proven to myself that I could do something. Like I could do something myself. And I want to see how far I can go. So the next logical step for me in my mind was, well, let me see if I could be an officer. Let me see if this is what I want to do. And I went through second boot camp at an officer candidate school and I did it. So it was really the push to challenge myself to do something that I knew that was going to be mentally tough and that if I got through it, that I'm capable of doing whatever I want, right? I want to go through something that's grueling. I want to go through something that's challenging and then prove it to myself, to my family, to my friends, but mainly to me that I can do this and I don't have any, the sky's the limit. You know what I mean? There's no restrictions here. So just keep on pushing yourself, see how far you could go, see how far you can excel. And that was at that time the next logical step in my career. So I took it.
That's amazing. And what was always intriguing for me, so I was joint forces for a quarter of my career. So anytime I interact with Marines, coolest people on the planet, right? Like I really enjoyed working with them. We have a mutual friend, so Richard Sykes was my boss at one point, and I
My
cannot remember
God.
the other officer. There was another Marine officer that was also really cool, and he was in charge of my troop when I was joint forces. But you would see them; they'd be real cool and real mellow, and then you'd run into them outside, and they're pushing the Humvee uphill
Yeah.
for
It's
fun.
like, yeah, it's just like, yeah, whatever. Another day.
It's hilarious. But no, that's awesome that you went that route. And like you said, longevity. What I did notice when I was joint forces that there was not a lot of longevity, whether it be through injury or just want to do something different. A lot of people that I started with eventually separated or got out. So to go 9 years enlisted and then
Hmm.
I decided to commission. Like hats off to you again. Awesome service. I love you guys' uniforms, but
It was a lot.
I'm not Marine built.
It was hard transitioning from at least being civilian to enlisted and then from enlisted to be an officer. That was a huge transition and then going back to civilian world again. So it was a big transition for me and I did learn a lot of great lessons all throughout my military career that have definitely impacted how I look at things and how I handle things in the civilian world and in the private sector. When I knew that I had to get out, I said, connecting things is great, but I want to learn how to break things. And this is where I said, if I'm going to get out of the service, I'm going to focus on the discipline of cybersecurity. And so I did, right? And I started like most military folks do. It's just like, how do you get into cybersecurity? Well, you got to get certs, right? So there I was, Sec Plus, CEH version.
Right.
I want to say it was like version 5, and I think it's like version 19 now or whatever it
Yeah.
is.
It just keeps rolling.
Yeah.
And this was during the transition or before you
This is
separated?
so this is before I separated. So at least these two certifications happened. And then I had an opportunity to take the CISSP, which was done like all the training was done boot camp style. And I took all 6 hours and failed miserably on that. And I said, I'm never going to fail a test like that again because I don't want to go through what I just had gone through. So as I got out and as I got more experience, I literally took like a big CISSP Sean Harris book and I read it front to back. And I was like, I'm going to understand everything. If I didn't understand a concept, like when you take those tests on your laptop, I went back and I learned the material. And as much as like people go through boot camps, if you sit down with the material and you really learn it, you have so much value that you could bring to any organization that you are part of because you had sat down and not just tried to shotgun a test, shotgun through the training and shotgun through the test. It's like you sat down and I'm able to talk to application developers. I'm able to talk to management. I'm able to talk to hardware folks about different things just because I had that inch deep, the inch
mile
deep,
wide.
mile wide, inch deep knowledge. But they're able to walk me down, dig deeper. But I had that understanding, and it wasn't just like some thing that I wrote, memorized, and then I lost. So yeah, I took all the military skills, the leadership skills, got my first job in cybersecurity as an analyst for Headquarters Marine Corps. And funny enough, my job was to get Marine bases on the Southeast ready for their cybersecurity assessments from DISA, so the Defense Information Systems Agency. And I had to take care of Windows systems, and I was responsible for making sure that all the physical security controls were being met. And that had me going around the stories where they tell you is like, oh yeah, you could just walk around with a clipboard and try to get into places. Oh yeah, I did that.
Look important, look busy, and then
yeah, I really did it, and it was very interesting because I was in the Marines, right? So I know how to talk to Marines. So it was very simple for me to just talk my way through it. And so I took that job, and then I said, you know what, I love working for the services and giving back as a defense contractor doing this, but I want to see what else I can do in the private sector. And so I landed my next job as a security configuration management analyst for a large global manufacturing company that's based out in Switzerland. And they had 195,000 employees. And what I did is I took my knowledge of the DISA security technical implementation guides, the STIGs, and I applied it to their technology, right? I said, hey, this is a baseline. Let's use this kind of baseline, at least this thinking, and try to apply it to the technologies here. And what that did is it provided people an opportunity to see hey, this guy knows what he's doing. And then it's hey, what else can he do? And so I ended up being responsible for the security configuration management service. And then they said, okay, we're going to give you vulnerability management. Okay, we're going to give you threat management. Okay, we're going to give you application security, right? And so now I have a portfolio of different programs that are running globally, and I'm handling a team that is around the world, right? Taking care of 195,000 employees. Still, I didn't have enough there. I was okay, well, I do want my own thing at some point, right? And I want to be able to build. I want to be able to, architect my own organization to the specifics that are required. And this came at the time too, where my wife was okay, well, we've been away for 17 years. So at this point, it's we need to go back home to Florida. And I was in Raleigh, North Carolina. And I said, okay. So I found a job in St. Petersburg to be a director of information technology and information security. And that role, they were required to have a organization that was secured per the NIST 800-171 requirements. So I had to build an entire organization's IT infrastructure with that as central to what the security baselines need to be, writing out all the policies, making sure the technology stack is there, putting that all together with a team. And so I did that for a little bit, and then that company folded and another company came in. I didn't like the leadership there, and I said, you know what? I'm tired of working for people that I don't like to work for. So I'm going to start my own company. And that's how Jun Cyber was born.
I was going to say that's interesting. So the 800-171, what year was that you were using as a baseline?
So let me see, what year was that? 2013, 2015. I want to say it was 2017, 2018. It was before the cybersecurity maturity model certifications.
Again, interesting, because for them to allow you to actually STIG is amazing, because, in the military, it's a pain in the butt, but it has to be done, right? There's no failed missions. You have to make sure that you're as secure as possible.
STIG was guidance. I wouldn't say everything was STIG, because, if you STIG things out, it's going to break stuff. It's break things in operations. So it's okay, hey, we have all of these controls here. This would be great if we could enable or implement all of these, but we know it's not going to work.
Gotcha.
So we go to we go look at the STIG, and I go with the engineers, and I go with the IT folks and say, hey, look at these. Which of these controls will break your stuff? And we start there.
Got it. Oh no, that's still it's still amazing to have that flexibility and to be able to bring in, I would say, military grade security, right? Into the organization. That's awesome.
Yeah, they didn't realize it. I was just like, yeah, this is what I did. It's like we had to make sure that all the Windows servers were stigged a certain way, right? And we had to check, manually check. And I mean, you have organizations that do have baselines, but you also like have different organizations that provide baselines, but it's like, okay, those are open source stuff. It's like, okay, I'm now talking like defense. Like, okay, let's bring this in, because if I have one, like, let's just say the CIS, right, is one way to baseline stuff, and then you have the STIG. It's like, okay, well, let's take the best of both worlds and try to make this work for this organization. And that's what you do.
That's great. And then also able to implement the 800 and 171, as much as possible, especially during that time frame. That is the world we currently live in. And, there's a lot of slow movement in that regard. So to have a company that actually wanted to go that route or needed to go that route and then use that as a baseline really puts you ahead of the curve.
Right.
That's also amazing, because now everybody is punching the air. I guess they don't want to necessarily go that route, but they have no choice.
They have no choice now.
Yeah, if they want to sign contracts.
The thing is that this is great. This is great for us as a nation. This is great for us as a defense industrial base, because it gives us a base, right? This is where you're supposed to be, not like, oh, well, company A is like this and company B is like that.
Right. It's the Wild Wild West.
Yeah, the Wild Wild West. It's like they're trying to bring it under. They're herding the cats. So this is their attempt to, and as a cybersecurity professional, as somebody that's been kind of watching this is exciting, right? It's painful, but all of us want our organizations to be secure, right? We have to enforce it. And literally the law has come down and said, you will do this. And that is like a dream for a lot of us.
Right.
Yeah. Because it's not like, hey, you should do this. This is a really good idea. It's like, no, you will do this or you will not get any contracts. You will not get any revenue, and your company will not do business with the government. That's the way it is.
Oh, absolutely. So I don't mean to keep sidetracking. It's just you have a lot of interesting, cool stuff going on in your career as we move along. So Jun Cyber. So now you're ready to launch your baby.
Yes.
What was that like?
Oh, that was very hard. I'll tell you, when we first started, it was like right before COVID, and nobody wanted to spend any money on anything, and everybody was afraid. But it did land some great clients, and we worked through it, and we started out as just like a NIST 800-171 consulting firm. We help people find their gaps, right? That's great. But it turned into like, I need to put food on the table. I need to keep the roof on my head, and I need to put clothes on my kids' back, right? So I'm working like a dog, like as you should, but it's like, there's more risk now as you own your own business. And so we had to pivot. We pivoted a lot. So we started out as a consulting firm, and then we turned into, okay, we will fix your stuff for you, and now we'll maintain it for you. And then they ask us like, well, we don't want to deal with just somebody that does the compliance stuff and then have another person does cybersecurity and IT. It's like, can you do all of it? Yeah. Heck yeah. I'll do it. Right. So, cause you're like, I'm like, hey, I'm in business. I gotta make the customer happy, and I need to survive during this time. I want to say the first 4 years were tough. I want to say we didn't break literally six figures until like year 2.5. And we just went over 7 figures just this last year.
Awesome.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. It's been an incredible journey. I have such an amazing team. It's not all me, right? I'm blessed to have like my oldest, actually, I'll go through this, but I've had my oldest son work with me first as an intern. It's to learn the ropes from his old man, right? That's like kind of the dream for a lot of dads. But I've seen him grow from like not knowing anything. And he was coming back from Afghanistan too, mind you. He was in the reserves as a forward observer for the Marines. He came back and said, I wanted to learn cybersecurity. He came back as an intern for me. And now he's he's like my right hand. Well, he's literally my right hand man, all stuff. And it is a family affair. I have my son and I have my daughter. They're doing video editing for me and some social media stuff for me. So it's nice to be able to share another side of dad,
Right.
right, with your kids and be able, and then not say like, oh, well, the reason why he's crazy at home is because he's really crazy at work, and I, like I said, I have had a great team. Some people have been with us for like 6 years, and it's been a lot of fun. I've had more fun times than I've had hard times, but the people that have stuck with me through the rough times, I mean, like we're doing it, right? And I can't say that it was easy. This is probably the toughest thing I've ever done. Right.
No,
And
absolutely.
yeah, it's a constant grind, and you have to stay positive, and you have to, make sure that, you're right in the head, your body, like you have to make sure that your body is healthy because you have to continue. But it's been difficult and it's hard, but it's so worth it. It's a lot of work, but I've learned so much about myself. I've learned a lot about risk, and I've learned a lot about sacrifice. And I don't think I would give up this experience for anything in the world.
That's truly inspiring, especially someone who one day wants to have a successful business of my own. To hear, because a lot of people will kind of gloss over the tough beginning.
Oh man, that's another podcast. I could tell you so many stories of like a lot of no's, you know what I mean? Like just, I was a recruiter for the Marines, right? So well, I'm going to kind of sidetrack a little
No
bit.
problem.
So I was a recruiter for the Marines, and I had a unique job in that I was a recruiter for musicians in the Marines. So it's one thing to be like in the Marines recruiting for other Marines, right? But you go into a very creative, artsy, like musical place. They are not the typical Marine material. You know
Right.
what I mean? And so I heard a lot of no's, and that was a tough job, but I made mission. But starting out as a small business, it's like, why should we trust you? You haven't been around for even a year yet. And how do you handle that objection?
Right.
Right. And it's like you get all these objections, and you start learning. This is like, well, this is how I would handle it now. This is how I would do it now. You start learning about but all the objections are, and then you start getting the people to believe it's like, yes, like I'm going to tell you why you should, and this is the benefit for you, and this is the benefit for me too. We're in this together. It's a lot of work, but it is not the fastest way to get rich, like at least the way that I'm doing it. But it's definitely an opportunity for people to really put everything on the table and just say, hey, let's try to make this work. So one of the big major factors is I didn't have a job to fall back on either. Right. So it's just like, I got to do this.
Right. And I mean, there's also legacy in there as well, because like you said, you're able to bring in your past experience and your knowledge into these other organizations. And now you're able to build something of your own and have your family come along for the ride. So
Right. Right.
that's, also inspiring, but also very scary. Like you
Yep.
said, there's
Oh
a lot
yeah.
of risk involved when you're the one who has to put the food on the table and provide your own benefits and things of that nature, right? So
Yeah.
there's a lot
Yeah.
of things. It's kind of like going from being a renter to a homeowner. You're like, oh, I can't wait to own my own home, and then you see what the landlord was doing, and you're like, oh no.
Or you're like, I have to fix that leak, or I have to pay for that AC. You know what I mean?
So you have, your company, you're growing and you're building. What made you decide to say, okay, we also want to do B-sides, right? Like I don't
Okay.
have enough on my plate. I want
Yeah.
to also add, an entire convention to it as well.
Yeah. So BSides holds a special place in my heart because my first conference when I got out was a BSides, and it was in Nashville. And I was like, wow, everybody's really nice here. Well, everybody's pretty cool here, and everybody's really trying to help each other out. And then I had different experiences at different conferences where it's just like you have a lot where people have huge egos and walk around like, I'm the best hacker and you can't talk to me, kind of stuff.
Got it.
I don't know if you've ever dealt with that, but I had to deal with that. Or you have like chief information security officers that are like on their ego trips walking around the halls, and you can't talk to them and ask for mentorship. So when I came to St. Petersburg, I realized it's like, listen, there's like nothing over here as far as community. And like, here I am, I have my own business, Jun Cyber, and I'm really about community. I've also, we didn't talk about this yet, but my nonprofit Cyber Ohana project,
Mhm.
right? It's like, I'm Filipino. I love people. I love getting together. I love to eat. I love to learn. And like, okay, well, here's an opportunity. There's not one here. Let's do it. And it is exactly like running your own, like starting up your own business.
Right.
Right. And it's like, okay, who do I go to ask for sponsorship money? How do I market this? When do I need to record in order to schedule this to market it? You know what I mean? Or when do I need to order the t-shirts? So it's a whole thing, right? The whole event, and you have a schedule. And I didn't know what I was doing the first year. We started out with 113 people coming to the event. And then everybody loves BSides. Like they really like BSides Tampa. BSides Tampa is awesome. But St. Pete needed something. And so we started out with 113. And I mean, the last couple of years, we've had over 500 plus, which is awesome. And it's just because people love the fact that it's centered on community and improving each other. And that's what I wanted to perpetuate from my time at BSides Nashville, right? And that's the intent for all the BSides around the world, right? It's to get people talking, get people to be together, and get people to interact and learn. So that's how BSides came about, and that's why I started it.
So it sounds as though you love a challenge. So not only, so you started your own business, and that's, for some people that's insurmountable when it comes to how do I build this thing to then work for this thing, right? Because it's one thing to I'm trying to kind of venture through this myself, right? To try to build the skeleton of something while you have a full-time job sounds more difficult, but actually you have a lot more support, right? You have something to fall back on if this thing does not solidify. But then on top of it, it's the transition. Okay, well, I have to get this thing functioning because one day it's going to pay the bills, or I want it to pay the bills. So how do I do that? So now you have 2 full-time jobs and a half. And then when you make that transition like you did during COVID, I can only imagine how stressful that is. And like you said, it's the how do I market myself? How do I convince you that, hey, you should, invest in my consulting, my products, my business, my philosophy. And then to go from that, okay, this thing is functioning and I have a drive for community. And, so which one came first? Was it the Ohana Project as your nonprofit, or was it BSides? Because I may have gone out of order.
It was Ohana Project first.
Okay.
Yeah, so we started out with the Ohana Project, and then the natural extension for and BSides St. Pete is a project of Cyber Ohana Project. So we fiscally sponsor a BSides St. Pete.
Got you. And what's also remarkable is when I have these conversations with entrepreneurs like yourself that are in cyber or information technology, what have you, a lot of them are serial entrepreneurs, right? So they'll have a company or two, a nonprofit, and like yourself, you have the conference.
So I suffer from a syndrome called I cannot be bored. My wife is like, you just can't. My parents told me, and my wife tells me all the time, you just can't stand still. It's like there's always something going on. I think that like entrepreneurs just have a lot of ideas, right? And we want to see if it works. And I guess the difference between entrepreneurs and a lot of other people is that we will do it. You know what I mean? We will take the step. And we'll say, that didn't work. All right, I'm going to pivot, do it again. Whereas a lot of people are afraid to take that first step, right? So it's just like, okay, where do you get that from? It's just like I want to know. I want to know. I'm curious. It's having that insatiable curiosity of finding out what is next. Where can I go? What's the next challenge, right? Because even still, like where we are today, like where I am today, well, first off, I'd never thought that I was going to be where I am today, right? And where I didn't think I was going to have a company, a nonprofit, run a conference. That was never in my cards 10 years ago. But when life handed me the cards that it gave me, I had to pivot, right? And it's just like, okay, where do I go? What do I do? What do I need to do to be successful for myself? And what do I need to do to make sure that my family's successful, and my family's successful? And then you're like, okay, let's move in this direction. Let's move, and you'll pivot, and you'll move. And as long as you have the drive and the willingness to fail fast and learn from it, it's like you will find yourself way, way better off than you would if you just didn't make a decision and just waited for the perfect circumstances. Because what's one thing that I know is for sure is perfect circumstances will never happen.
No, and that I hear a lot as well. It always gives me pause, right? So, uh, I'm a measure 10 times, cut once type person. However, you miss out on opportunities when you're
Yeah.
too stuck on like you're looking at traffic and you're just like, okay, I'm going to jump out now. Oh wait, this car is moving a little bit faster than I expected, or wait, I didn't see this person switch lanes, or whatever the analogy in this autobahn situation I just created. You're always hesitant because you're like, okay, how do I take that jump? But what I have heard from multiple entrepreneurs is it's okay to fail.
Yeah.
It's like you're going to take a calculated risk. You're going to take the experience you had before, and you're going to try to use that in order to not fail or not fail as in the same way, right? So I've been very blessed to have back to back entrepreneurs on the show, which has inspired me to go back to the well. Like I may be writing
Hmm.
another book, like a volume two to the other side of the firewall, where I specifically take the stories of those entrepreneurs and try to build out the narrative. Because again, there's a lot of people within our field who are making amazing strides, and it's due to mentorship like yourself. Starting the Ohana project and also doing the BSides, which I don't understand how you have any more time left in your day, let alone your life,
You know,
for so many projects.
I am blessed with a great group of people that give a crap about, you know what I mean? I would use curse words. My marine mouth wants to come out. I'm
Right.
I'm so passionate about like community that I have just as much of a team that is just as passionate of making sure that the community is served around the Tampa Bay area. And it's amazing. And you say time. It's like, yeah, time is a currency. I only have the time that I have because I have a great team that I can delegate tasks to, and they just get it done, right? And that is a gift, and that's you should strive to be around, right? That's who you want on your team, people that care. And yeah, I'm blessed to have that on both Cyber Ohana, Jun Cyber, and as well as BSides St. Pete.
No, awesome. And again, like you're not only continuing to grow your business, like you said, from, major milestones, six figures, seven figures, and then just keep that machine going. But also you said that the numbers from the conference have jumped fivefold from when it started. So
Hmm.
again, it's that passion and that drive, hats off to you. And because you have to do this again, like, because people think conferences just pop up out of nowhere, but no, it takes a year of planning. So as soon as it's over, it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
over, and now you've already begun the steps for, okay, what are we going to do
Yep.
next year? Doing that AAR, that after action report of what transpired, and how do we increase, or we build, or we partner. So I can only imagine, like, you have so many different things happening all at one time. But
Do.
again, like you said, you have an amazing team. So hats off to them as well.
They ask the same questions like, "How do you do it? How do you have so much time?" I'm like, "I don't have a lot of time. I have a great team." So it really boils down to listen, I learned how to delegate and give solid instructions, and then I have people that I surround myself with that can take, direct this very well, and then just run, and they care, and they just do things. They have a lot of initiative, so I'm blessed there.
Gotcha. Yeah, I can only imagine, like, having to put away the knife hand.
Oh
When I think of
god.
Marines, I think of the knife hand, right?
Oh, it's there, but I don't use it.
Got it. Got it. It's been stowed away. Speaking of time and your team and what have you, what ongoing or upcoming initiatives can we also bring up? Because I always forget to put this at the top. So we are now syndicated. So we're on WDJY 99.1 FM in the Atlanta metro area, as well as the TuneIn app. So that's worldwide. And then your podcast platform of choice. So I want to make sure, like, I blast this out to
Okay.
whomever can
Awesome.
give you more work. What do you have going on now, and what's coming up in the near future?
Oh my gosh, I wanna say, one of the things that I've been doing at work a lot is vibe coding. Like, I guess it's just because I was in the Marines, because we just thrived with not a lot of stuff, like because our budget was so small, we'd, get duct tape and we'd fix everything with duct tape.
Right.
So I try to run a lean shop and I try to save money where I can. And so I've been creating my own tools, like internally, I have my own GRC tracker. We don't use any other GRC tracker on it. And I've created my own gap assessment machine, right?
Awesome. Yeah.
Right. I've even created my own landing page generator for marketing, right? So it's stuff that I could use for marketing, different things. So I've been really, really spending a lot of time vibe coding, learning about application development that could help small businesses, and then taking that knowledge and helping out clients that, don't understand AI, don't want to spend $1 million on another tool, but they would like something that's purpose built for them.
Right.
So we're jumping that world and be able to build the automations and purpose built AI platforms for different clients. That's kind of the next step for Jun Cyber. It's like everybody knows us as a compliance focused managed service provider. So it's just like, listen, we've been messing with AI for like the past 5-6 years before ChatGPT was a thing. And so it is integrated in our business so much that we want to share that knowledge with our clients and for whoever. So that's one initiative. The way that we're going to get that out is I'm going to be getting on YouTube a bit more and Instagram, right? And
I've seen a lot of reels from you actually over the past few months. So I was like, okay, he's really getting it.
I'm trying new things, right? Because I could talk about the compliance stuff. I could talk about like the high level executive. Like I know this, but at the same time, it's like I have people that are my clients that are not in that business. They don't need defense level grade security, but they just want their business to run. They want it to run better. It's like, how the hell do I use ChatGPT, right? And one of my best videos on TikTok, like I want to say 50,000 views, which is not a lot, but a lot for me.
That's a ton. It's just think like a conference hall in a college is only 500 seats.
Right.
So
right.
yeah, how many times over have you filled that conference room?
Yeah. So I put a clip up and say, hey, make ChatGPT sound more professional. Put this prompt in. And people are like eating it up. So I'm going to be talking more about AI. And so that's like the next big project is I'm going to be doing a lot more videos about AI, more general, like, hey, how can I utilize AI in my business? How can I use it to improve my life? What can I do like with vibe coding, right? And that's going to be a majority of my content on like YouTube and Instagram and TikTok. And then on the more professional side, I'm going to have more talk about how do I solve the problems of chief information security officers and chief compliance officers, right? How I would do it. So look forward to that kind of stuff because that's coming up. We're creating a content warehouse. So that's why I have my kids like doing video editing for me. We're developing stuff, man, and it's pretty awesome and it's good. I want to be able to have my voice out there to say, hey, this is how you could solve your particular problem. And hopefully it makes an impact to somebody professionally and then maybe personally too.
No, absolutely. Again, it's you putting it out to the community. So you're trying to, already you're doing humongous things with the nonprofit and with the conference, but now you're making evergreen material that people can use to actually do something with. And I think we're all kind of heading in a similar direction. At least I hope we're all heading to a similar direction. We're kind of democratizing cyber a little bit more, right? Trying to make it less gatekeepy and try to get that information out. So what I've done recently is I have a little GRC tool as well out there in beta, and the hope is that people can use it for things they could just do themselves, right? Like you don't have to pay $1 billion to get a consultant to come in the door to help you with things you could have easily, or not easily, but things that I could have easily found on the internet to then help you with. And then once you get to a certain level of complexity, then it will push you to me to say, hey, like use this or maybe you should call out this tool, or maybe you should contact Ram Cyber based upon whatever parameters and then API calls. I think we're all kind of headed that way.
Yeah, foot in the door. You got the foot in the
right,
door.
Yeah, get that foot
right?
in the door. I build your trust because I gave you a good tool. I gave you really good information, but then when you get to a certain level of complexity, you might need me. So
But yeah, but
call
yeah.
call me in. So no, I think we're all headed in that direction. But I appreciate your boldness to integrate it within your systems. I still keep mine a mile away just because I'm trying to. Again, I measure too many times, so now I'm on like measurement 50 or 60, right before I
Listen,
do integration. But I need to start pushing my in that direction.
listen. I'm going to tell you what the best lesson I tell everybody is like Mike Tyson says that everybody has a plan
Yeah,
until you get punched in the mouth. And listen, you want to get punched in the mouth because then you're going to learn something. Because what you're doing by just waiting is you're looking at the punch that is inevitably going to hit your face.
right.
You're looking at it
Regardless of
in
what I
slow.
do.
It's in slow mo. So just get it over with. Put it out there. Let it get beat up. Let it fail. Right? Because then you're gonna be like, okay, I can fix this, and then you'll fix it, and then you'll get punched in the face again because there'll be more things that need to be done. But by not putting it out there, you're just looking at it as like a train wreck. It's in slow mo. It's
In slow
happening.
motion.
Right. So just get hit in the face. Just get hit in the face. Just do it. Put your foot out there, get slapped around, learn from it, and do it again. And guess what? When you start doing that and you start getting used to it, you get thicker skin, the cycles go faster. Right. And then it's
Gotcha.
just like, hey, yeah, let's do it. Okay. Fail, 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 fail. Okay. I'm moving. I'm adjust. And then you're going to be like, dang, man, I wish I knew this the whole time. Right. Just,
No, absolutely. Yeah,
yeah.
because it's been sounded for like a year now. So yeah, I
No.
need to
Yeah.
integrate it. So
Yeah.
uh,
Stop looking at it, man.
got you. Got you. So no, so again, great mentorship lesson here. So I like when people quote the great philosopher Mike Tyson because
My
he has
God.
a lot of really good quotes. So
Yeah.
I definitely will go that route. What about off duty, right? So I always like to land the plane on what people are doing to, either better themselves or to take the time to relax or whatever it is that you do for you, right? Because I know a lot of entrepreneurs can't necessarily rest, but they
Hmm.
find ways to re-energize themselves.
Right.
So in your case, what is that for you?
So we just started this thing called pickleball, and it's just partly because my kids play sports that I don't care to play, or that I'm just kind of like my body's just not going to keep up.
Right.
Because my daughter plays volleyball, my son plays soccer, and he swims, and my daughter plays basketball. I'm terrible at shooting. My wife, she likes to go running. I don't like to run anymore after the Marine Corps, right? So and then my oldest son, he likes to work out at the gym. Like we could go work out in the gym, but then we can't do anything else with because nobody else wants to go to the gym. Pickleball was one of the things that we could actually go to do together, right? Because none of us knew how to play. So we're all at the same level in a way, right? And we're all learning. And then we all get to be on the court together. And, like you switch out one because we have five and you only have four on the court. So that's been our thing. Like it's a weekly ritual that I look forward to. It's like Sundays from 7 to 9 p.m. We get together, we play pickleball. And that to me resets everything because it allows me to like sit back and just like watch and be thankful for what I have and the journey that I've gone so far and be like, hey, yeah, we're here together and yeah, this is it's fun and it's not stressful. So that's what I've been doing. Now, there's another thing I've been doing because and you'll probably laugh. There was this guy, he said he played pickleball 5 times. And I said I only played once, a game once. And this guy kicked my butt. He kicked my butt. I'm like, how in the world did you kick my butt 11-0, 11-1, you know, if you only played 5 to 6 times? I'm like, I know I'm not that terrible of an athlete, but I'm also like one that doesn't want to like go and pay like $50 an hour to $100 an hour for a coach for pickleball. So
Right.
I went out and I vibe coded a pickleball training app. So this is what I do for fun too. It's just like I have a problem, I'm going to solve it. I created a pickleball training app that I plan to resell at some point called Dink Academy. So
Okay.
so you can look it up. It's dinkacademy.app. It's there. And
That's awesome.
we got some people in beta right now. Yeah, I'm telling you, I was just like, I got to have a way. So yeah, it's just like, all right, what are the best exercises? What are the techniques? What do I need to do? What are the rules? So I could just like get on my phone and just like, all right, this is what I need to do today. I need to swing this and hit this area 10 times. Okay. Because, it's not like I get to go to the pickleball court all the time, but at least I could do things outside of the pickleball court that will help me improve. And I'll be ready for the next time, Mr. Guy that said he had 5 to 6 times playing. I'll be ready to win.
Right. No, and again, that shows your both sides of your entrepreneurial spirit, right? Like you're spending time with your family, and that's kind of your way of recharging yourself for another week. But then also you're very competitive. So you created this, app to not only help you, but help others. And then perhaps, it might be the next best thing.
Next thing, man. I'm telling you, and there is a community aspect to the app too. It's like, hey, you want to play with somebody that tells you where all the pickleball courts are in the area, and then you could have a friend. If they have the app, you could connect. Yeah, it just went down this whole different rabbit hole, and I was just like, you know what? But it's just like, let's do it. Like, if it fails, it fails. Who cares? But I had fun doing it. You know what I mean? So it's part of the journey. It's like, all right, well, let's make this work. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, that's fine. I learned something along the way for my next app that I create. So yeah, that's what I do for fun, relax. So my wife says it's work, and I'm just like, no, it's not work. It's fun for me to sit down and just work with my vibe coding and get stuff done.
The adage, do something you love, and you'll never work a day.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's very, very inspiring. Wow, I need a whole nother hour with you to kind of break down more of what I want to talk to you about. That just is an excuse to bring you back on the show.
Yeah, no, I'm serious. I love helping people out. It's I like I say, I'm blessed with. I am blessed beyond anything that I could like really say with words, and I want to give back as much as I can because there's been so many people that have put their faith and trust in me over the years and taught me a lot of things and given their time and their energy and their lessons over the years. This is like, it's my responsibility as somebody that's been in the field to give back to the younger generation because I don't want the younger generation to go through the same hardships that I have gone through, right? So I want to give back as much as I can. So whenever I have those opportunities like this, thank you again for having me. I will. So please have me back. I'll definitely talk for another hour.
Absolutely. You'll be in an invite ASAP for the back half of the year. Again, I've been blessed with so many people wanting to be on the show this year in comparison to previous years. So yeah, I'm super excited, and I can't wait to talk to you again. Well, and outside of this, right? Because we'll be in a panel together this summer. So
yeah,
more to come with that. But yeah, I'll definitely be seeing you in real life as well, which is always a good time. But I have to land this plane for this episode. Definitely continue to check us out on your podcast platform of choice, as well as we're now syndicated on Atlanta Metro's WDJY 99.1 FM, as well as TuneIn app worldwide. You can listen to us at 5 p.m. on Tuesdays on Eastern Standard Time, as well as you can hit us up by all the websites to go by our name. I'm most active on LinkedIn, but you can also go to RyanWilliamsSenior.com. You can check out all my projects to include the GRC app that we discussed. And then you can go to theothersideofthefirewall.com to pick up the book, the guide that I wrote last July. Last but not least, where can they find you? Especially your YouTube channel, because that's about to blow up.
Yeah. So let's see. YouTube, you can look up Jun Cyber. My handle is Secure Build Lead. So you can look that up. And Secure Build Lead is also Instagram, but with periods in between. And then you could find me on LinkedIn at Wilson Bautista Jr.
Awesome. There it is. Stay safe. Stay secure.